Hey guys, this is Carrie from Tone Wars. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We're really excited to hang out with you and to have you be part of our community. If you like what you see here, here's a couple ways you can support the channel. We always appreciate super chats very much, but here's a couple other ways you can support the channel and get something in return other than just content. If the super chat feature doesn't work for you, or if you're watching after the live stream, Jared's PayPal account link is listed below. Any donation of any amount is greatly appreciated. Since the show is sponsored in part by Motor City Guitar, we've included an affiliate link below. By clicking the link below, everybody wins. You're getting a great deal on some awesome equipment, you're supporting a store that has tons of inventory and great customer service, and you're supporting Tone Wars. And on top of all of that, if you live outside of the state of Michigan, whenever you buy anything from Motor City Guitar, you don't pay any sales tax. And last but certainly not least, you can visit our website at tonewars.com. The link is below. There you will find some awesome Kemper profile packs with the tone and feel guitar players love. You will also find presets for the very popular Helix, HX Effects, HX Stomp, and Pod Go. Alright, the show's about to begin. We look forward to hanging out with you, so grab your favorite drink and join us in the live chat.
Welcome to Tone Wars. Oh my god, what is happening, guys? Oh man, I have missed hanging out with you guys more than I can even say. I'm so thankful for this night and for all of you being here and hanging out with me and each other. Seriously, oh my god, thank you so much. Huge group hug. Missed you guys like crazy. Seriously, it's been a rough several days here. I have some interesting stories to tell you, but I'm going to wait until Carrie joins me. By the way, we will be going live instead of Sunday. We'll be going live Saturday night. I believe still at 7. Because we know 4th of July, everybody's going to be out enjoying themselves and enjoying our freedom and celebrating our freedom and watching fireworks and stuff. And we certainly don't want to interrupt that, and honestly, we want to enjoy that too. So we're going to go live Sunday or Saturday instead of Sunday this week, because of that. So 7 o'clock, most likely, and worst case scenario, 8 o'clock, but I'm pretty sure we're going to stick to 7. So we'll see. Before I get started too, I want to say tonight's going to be kind of a loose hang, so I'm not going to be playing a ton of mixes and stuff. I'm actually going to Jay, my buddy Jay Croft, who's Warm Chord Music. I was talking to him the other day. I'm like, dude, I've had no time to plan anything. I've had no time to practice or even do anything. All I do is work and all the other stuff I've been dealing with. I said, man, I wish there was something I could do. And he's like, why don't you break down all your amps? So I'm like, you know what? That's a great idea. Why don't I go through at least 8 of them tonight that I could fit on the shelves and fit in the switcher, because I only have 8 slots in the switcher. And I'll just switch between them and just talk about each one. And I'll just start with number 1. And there are the numerical order is not my favorite, the order of how much I like them or dislike them. It's just, I'm just going to go 1 through 8 and tell you what champ it is, and then just talk about it. And then if you guys have questions, I'll be happy to answer them for you. You want me to play riffs on it or whatever, I'll be happy to do all that stuff for you. Tonight's just a loose hang. I missed you guys and missed doing this, so I wanted to do this. So forgive me if it's a little loose, but I will stick to the program as far as the amps and the riffs and all that. So Jason Taylor, what's up, buddy? Good to see you here. Dustin, what's going on, man? He says, I can't wait to see how they stack up. I'm eyeing up buying a new tube amp. That rev piques my interest, also considering the EVH Stealth. You know, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this as well, because I get questions every single week, which I very much appreciate. Which one? This one or that one? Or like if I get a new amp in here and I review it, people are like, well, now is that one your favorite? Or how does that compare to your favorite? Or this or that? And I'm so grateful for the questions. And tonight, all of that will be answered. And I'll just speak candidly about all this stuff with you guys. Because, you know, people watch the show and they want to make decisions based on how things compare here. They know I don't do any pre or post processing. There's no trickery going on here. The amps are just dialed in and the mics are raw. There's no processing or EQ on the mics at all. It's all raw. So, and I'll give you honest opinion about everything. Jason Taylor says, what's going on, Jared? Glad to see you back. Thanks, buddy. Me too. Bobcat, what's going on, man? He said, what's up? Was there another community jam? I believe that will be coming soon. Yes, a good question. Good to see you here, buddy. I'll be coming soon. Carrie and I will be announcing that soon. Okay, so Bad Cat says, hey Jared, how do you like the Badlander stock cab sims compared to the IR you may have used? That's a good question. So I don't think I've hooked up the cab sim from the IR or the Badlander yet. If I have, I forgot that I did. So so far, honestly, nothing's really compared to the Oxbox yet. IRs, to me, feel very sterile, and they're super dry, and there's not a whole lot of life and texture to them. They're just really flat and kind of dry, and I mean, I've been playing these amps for a long time through real cabs, and I'm not kidding you. I'm not a big fan of IRs, but the stuff that, whatever Oxbox is doing with their cab sims is amazing. So I really prefer those. There's some juice there. There's some chewiness and some give, and I really love how that thing sounds and feels. So anytime I play an IR now, especially through an IR loader, I'm always like, oh, why is this so dry and lifeless and sterile? And it literally is a thing. There's a feel difference there. I like stuff that's a little on the chewy side, but that's just me. Let's see here. Marty, what's going on? Marty5, what's going on, buddy? Great to see you here. Sean Casey, hey Jared and everybody, we are having record heat wave in Washington and northern Idaho, 100 degrees. Oh my god, dude. Oh, I hope your AC is working. I've been working in this crap, and it hasn't been 100, thank god, but it's been hot and sticky here, just really sticky and just miserable. Yeah, it's been a challenge getting these buildings done, but I feel your pain, and I hope it gets cooler for you. Return Dakota, Gunnerman 54, what's going on? Paul Smith, what's going on, man? Sorry I'm late too, guys. It's been a crazy day. Steve Shaheen, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. Perrin Davis, what's happening? David Cameron, what's going on? McKinley Crooker, what's going on? Gent. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, you like that intro? Oh, man. Dustin says, the rev is sounding so good, I need one. Yeah, it's a great amp. That was a purple channel that I played, and I have the bright, cut, and fat, and the gate all on. And I think it sounds really freaking good. I haven't played this amp in a while, and I'm like, holy crap, this thing sounds good. McKinley, the Rev Kemper profiles are cool. Oh, yeah. Yes, they are. I'll be having my own out very soon. I just got to get caught up on work, and then I'll be doing a lot of profiling and stuff. So that'll be coming soon. Um, yeah, I got fried. I am definitely fried. Definitely got myself a tan here. You can see, look at the difference. Yeah, man. Dean Harkness, what's going on? Chicago Todd, what's going on, buddy? Christopher, what's happening? Angry face was an accident. No, that's the metal face, bro. From now on, angry face is metal face. I love it. CS, what's going on, man? Let's see. He says, see 3 guitars in the room. Yeah, I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play stuff on the amps so that you can hear how they sound with different tunings. You know, so I have different tunings here. This is standard 7. That's a half step down 7, and I think that's a whole step down. The JP15. Just in case you guys want to hear how it sounds, in case you play super drop tunings, I figured I'd do that for you. Thank you, Paul. Thank you very much. Yep, it's been crazy, but doing okay today. Bobby Lucky, what's going on, man? He says, I discovered the live hang. Hope all is great. Thank you. Scott Fulmar, what's happening, man? Oh, man, thank you so much for being here. Okay, so let's get started. Cheers, everybody. Man, this is pretty good. This is Jefferson's very small batch. A little cheaper than the Reserve, but it's a little brighter. It's kind of nice. All right, so let's start with the Rev. I'm just going to play some stupid riffs. I'm not going to do probably not any mixes tonight. I'm not really dialed in for that, but I'll see if I can do something if I need to. But standard tuned 7th string, okay? And we're going to start with the Rev on the purple channel. I'll play some stupid riffs for you. Bright, cut, fat, and gate are all on. And let's just see what it sounds like, and we'll talk about it. All right, 1 second. Okay, so that's the purple channel. My buddy Jay will be coming soon. Hopefully, schedules, how they are. We're going to compare the Rev Mark II to the Mark III and show you what the differences are. I loved the Mark II. I thought it was really good. The Mark III is more my speed, though. It's got more gain, more aggression. It seems to sound, I don't know, it's just it's a little more juicier, a little liquidy, and I like that. It's got a nice chewiness to it that I like. And the purple channel on the Mark II was great, but it didn't have enough fullness and gain for me. It could work, but I prefer the purple channel on this amp. Again, I'm not saying it's better, it just suits my taste better. And I'm just being very descriptive so that people that are trying to decide between amps or wondering if they played a Rev Mark II and it didn't work for them, maybe this would be more your speed. Or maybe this is too much for you and you'd rather have a Mark II. So I'm just giving you that information for those reasons. Let's go to channel 4, which is the red channel, and I'll do a couple riffs there. Wow, man, really fat and responsive. I love the staccato that Nuno Betancourt crap I was doing at the end. Not as good as him, obviously, but it's got that really nice percussive, dry kind of staccato thing. It sounds like I'm picking every note, but I'm not because I'm palm muting, but it's still got a nice kind of attack to get through. Let me do that a couple times for you. One second. Wow, man. That is a, oh, I had the gate off. That's why I was humming. Yeah, that gate really works, man. It's a good gate. See? No noise. Freaking quiet as a mouse. Yeah, freaking amazing. Wow. This amp, seriously, if you're looking for, all right, so I played some riffs on both channels that I love. If you're looking for an amp that has a buttload of features, I mean, it's got the 2 notes in it. The app works with it. You could do all the features with the app. You can run it direct front of house and not have to bring your cab, and it sounds really good through that. Effects loop's great. The channels, I mean, they're totally, like I've said it before on the channel, like if Rev came to me and said, what would you like us to do with the amplifier? I don't think I'd change anything. I mean, it just sounds incredible. Does everything I would want their amp to do. It's big, full, fat, aggressive, chewy. It's got a lot of gain, and it's tight enough too. I mean, I'm pushing it with my precision drive, but I push every amp with a precision drive, so it doesn't matter to me. And it's very responsive, and it sounds freaking amazing. So if you don't mind parting with over $3,000, you know, I think it's a great amp to get because of the features that you get. The features are absolutely incredible in this amplifier. They really are. There's no gimmicks. They just give you everything that you would want it to do. They did a great job with it. And even channel 2, which on the Mark II is it did not have as much gain as the channel on the Mark III does. I mean, the Mark III has a ton of gain in comparison because the channel 2 or the Mark II channel 2, the green channel, just was edge of breakup. This one actually will do classic rock, and if you really wanted to really push it, you could probably get away with even some heavier stuff. I'm on that right now. Let me just play a couple riffs there. Didn't really know what I was going to play there, but yeah, I mean, it's a huge difference between the Mark II and the Mark III on the green channel, especially. I mean, I think the purple and the green are the biggest differences that I noticed. The red channel, now I'm going by memory, I don't have them next to each other. The red channel has more aggression. It's a little chewier. It's not as stiff as the Mark II. It has more aggression and a little more gain and low end. So there's a pretty big difference between the amps. Again, I think they're both great, the Mark II and the Mark III, but the Mark III is right up my alley when it comes to the rev stuff. So if you're on the fence, I would highly recommend it. I really would. See if you guys have any questions. Please tag Tone Wars. That way I can make sure I don't miss you, because I do not want to miss your questions at all. Shred Ain't Dead, what's going on, buddy? Shred Ain't Dead's got a great channel, by the way. He does some lessons and he does some reviews as well. Really nice guy. I've actually learned some stuff off of his channel, and I enjoy it very much. He's a really down-to-earth dude, and he gives you a lot of great tips that are really usable. And you know, some of these channels, and I mean this as a really good compliment to you, Shred. Some of these channels, some of the stuff that they have is like so over people's heads. It's like I'll never, you know. But his stuff is very usable, very. It's just stuff that you would is like really good staples, and staples and things that are even upper echelon type stuff. But it's all very attainable, really usable stuff, and I really enjoy his channel. So, yeah, make sure you give him a sub too. He's a nice guy. So. I've never met him, but I really like his channel. Let's see here. Jason Taylor. Oh, yes. Shred Ain't Dead says, holy hell, the red channel rule. It does, man. It's a freaking great channel. It really is. Hey, Nick. See here. He says, I just recently bought a Salvation Audio Angel module. Thanks for posting a review and demo. Oh, cool, man. Congratulations. Yeah, that's a really interesting little module, man. Congrats. I hope you enjoy it. Vox Pathfinder, what's going on, Dan? Good to see you here. Jason Taylor, is the Rev the most versatile amp for a variety of styles and genres? Ooh, good question. Let me look here. The Rev. Yeah, you know, I'd have to say on the shelf right now, it's definitely, I would say, one of them for sure. I think, yeah. You know what? On the shelf, it is. Because you got the green channel for a great classic rock. It's kind of thick. It's got that nice beefy kind of thick tone. And I'll cycle through them all when I play a riff through the wiretap pedal for you so you can hear the difference in a minute here. So it'll do classic rock or even something a little more mellow than that. The clean channel is really good. And then the purple channel is an amazing rhythm channel, and it's got enough gain for leads too, so you could do that. And the red channel is just an onslaught of whatever you want. You know, if you want to breathe fire and have leads only, you could do that, or it's tight enough for rhythms too. So yeah, I think it's probably the most versatile amp that I have. Yeah, I'd have to say yes. And yep, it's a pretty penny, but again, it's not a gimmicky amp. It actually has stuff on it that you would want to use. I just think it's amazing. You know, so let me do this. I'm going to start on the green channel, and I'm just going to play a riff on my wiretap pedal. Just for people that don't know, wiretap pedal, I literally program riffs like a DI track from my guitar into the pedal. So it's taking my guitar DI track and it remembers it. And as soon as I hit play on it, it just takes my guitar DI, and I can play it through any one of these amps so that you get a really good representation of what they sound like. And now I'm not playing and switching. I can actually switch channels while, you know, my DI is going through it. So start with the green, we'll go to the purple, and then we'll go to the red with the same riff and show you the difference between them. 1 second. Yeah, it just got angrier and angrier as it went by. So that's what I noticed in the room. I mean, the purple and the red are pretty similar, except you do notice, I think the red one just has a little more, I don't know, it's a little more low end. It's not as focused, but it's a slight difference, and I do like that. I don't like it when amps have too much of a difference between channels, because it's like, yeah, you're going after versatility, but now it's so versatile that like it's just too far. The channels are too far from each other, and I want something that I can use and sculpt to my taste, but stay kind of within the genre of music that I play, which this amp really does very well. So, but yeah, a killer freaking amp, really, really good. Let's see here. But does it chug? Vox says, oh yeah, it chugs, man. It chugs like a freaking frat boy at a college party, man. Steve Venchak, what's going on, man? Scott Fomar says, is the Tone Wars event still happening at Motor City Guitar? Are there dates established? Thanks. Oh, you're welcome, Shred Ain't Dead. Thanks, Marty. Appreciate that. Yes, Scott, great question. So I'm working on that right now. See, I basically booked this in August, and after I booked it, my phone blew up with these apartment complexes that I got to wash, and they got me hopping, man. I mean, they got me just busy. I'm working every freaking day, trying to stay caught up with all this stuff, and I've been having some issues with some other things that I'll go into when we go live on Saturday. You guys aren't going to believe what happened to me, man. It's freaking... This is one for the books, and it's just set me back a week or two now. So yeah, I'm working on things. My goal is to make sure that when we do this event, that it's worth your guys' time. I know it'll be worth mine because I can't wait to meet you guys, and I think it'll be fun. But I want to make sure that for the people that are traveling, and making plans and making sacrifices to get here, that it's worth your time, and I want to be very respectful of that. So if we have to bump it a little bit to make sure I have time to plan it properly, we're going to have to do that, because I definitely don't ever want to rush anything. It's kind of like, serving food before it's cooked all the way, just because people are hungry. Everybody gets sick. So I definitely want to make sure that, I'm respectful of you guys, and you have something that's very worthwhile coming to. So working on that right now, but thanks for the question. I appreciate that. It will happen. It's just a matter of when right now. Bruce Clark, yes, channels have to be close. Yeah, right? I'm okay with like a 4-channel amp having a quirky one like the Savage does, but man, when they have like these channels that are just north, south, east, and west, you're like, dude, no, I'm paying $3,200 for an amp that has one channel in it that I like. You got to stay within the family of tones, you know what I mean? And then just augment them slightly with gain structures and maybe some voicing, but stay within that, and I think Rev did a fantastic job with that. I really do. I think they put a lot of time and care into that. So I got nothing bad to say about it. I think it's thick, it's full, it's meaty, it's aggressive. It just sounds incredible. So, yeah. Oh, thanks, Shred. Appreciate it. Right back at you, buddy. Let's see here. Bruce Clark, sorry I got here late. Yeah, man, you got to stand in the corner with gum on your nose now. You got to put a big old piece of Bubblicious on your nose and stand there. Be ashamed of yourself. It's all good, man. You didn't miss much. So let's move on to amp number 2, which is the EVH Stealth. This amplifier here, if you have about $1,400 burning a hole in your pocket, there is not a better amp out there for that money. This amp is pound for pound, dollar for dollar, one of the best amplifiers you can buy for that kind of money. It really is. It has MIDI. It has 3 very good channels on it. The clean, the green, the blue, and the red channel. All 3 of them are freaking sick. It's just a great amplifier. Sometimes people just want a less expensive amp. I mean, we just went from a $3,200 amp to but was it $1,400, right around there. And some people don't want to bring a $3,200 amp to a gig, but they also don't want to bring a cheap one. And I'm using air quotes here for people that are listening. To a gig because it sounds like crap or it's unreliable. Well, the EVH Stealth 50 watt is the perfect amp for you because, yes, it's less expensive, but I would not call it cheap. And it sounds freaking phenomenal. The feel is great. The sound is great. It looks cool. I think it's built well. It's been pretty reliable so far. Knock on wood. And I just think for the money, I mean, you could take this to a gig and not worry about, these things are just workhorse amps. They're incredible. So let's start with the blue channel. I'll play some riffs on it, and we'll talk about that. I mean, if you don't like that, I don't know what to tell you. It just sounds phenomenal. What a great amplifier. I have all these boutique fancy pants amps. I mean, I'm blocking, I got the Driftwood here. I got blocking all my stuff here. I got all these crazy amps down here. Some of them are off camera. I can't fit them all on the shelves anymore. This place is getting crazy. And, and you'd think, like, I would hate this amp. Like, oh, you got all these boutique amps. You got the Diezel, the Herb. That's a $4,200 amp. That's a $3,000 amp. This is a $3,400 amp here, the Driftwood. Boutique, built by one dude in Germany, by hand. His name's Merrick, and he's amazing. And, you know, the Rev, the KSR, like all these, and you'd think, like, oh, God, what's he doing with that EVH? Well, I just proved that this EVH belongs on this shelf. You can weld that thing to my shelf. It's fine. I'm never getting rid of it. The only reason why I would is because I'm about to be homeless, or I got a good deal on the 100 watt. That's about it. But yeah, it's still, every time I plug into it, I'm still like freaking like, yeah, this amp totally works. It sounds great. I got nothing bad to say about it. It just sounds phenomenal. Let's go over to the red channel now and do some crap on that. 1 second. What a great lead channel. Just freaking perfect. Sounds incredible. There's nothing annoying about it. Feels great. Tons of aggression and rage and sustain and all the crap that you love. I mean, it just sounds great. Now let's go to the clean channel and play a couple things on there. 1 second. Great clean channel, very good. You know, you don't have to, you know, some of the like the 5150, and no disrespect, but some of the 5150 amps and 6505s and stuff like that, the clean channel was really harsh. It had a bite to it. That was like, you know, I've been to shows where some guys have played on those and they play the cleans, and I'm like, bro, I mean, it's like bee stings in my eardrums, man. And this channel is warm. It's got chime to it. It's just a really well-balanced channel. I mean, for an amp that has this much aggression and ridiculousness to it, it's just a phenomenal channel. Is it the best clean channel that I have? No, that is. The Diezel Herbert and the JP Mark IIc Plus are the best clean channels on the market, in my opinion. Holy freaking crap, are these channels. I can listen to the clean channel on the Herbie all day. That thing is just freaking incredible, and I'll get to that amp, trust me. But that being said, the clean channel on this Stealth is absolutely usable, absolutely beautiful. It works just fine. No one's going to be plugging their ears or running for cover when you switch to it on stage. It sounds incredible. I'd even put it on a recording. It sounds that good, you know. But if I have the Herbert, why would I record, or the JP, why would I record anything else as far as the clean channel goes? Those channels are freaking godly. Scott, thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate that. He says, appreciate all that you do. Thanks for the update and the amp reviews. Hey, man, it's my pleasure. I hope that you guys enjoy this as much as I do, because, man, I get a total charge out of going live and hanging out with you guys. Seriously, I absolutely missed you guys. I really did. So I had to do this tonight. Jamie Trevino, The Law, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you here. Let's see here. Let me find Dean Harkness. What's going on, man? He says this has two very good channels. You're hilarious, man. Exactly, McKinley. It's affordable, not cheap. It really is a great amp. It's a fantastic amplifier. You know, and again, best bang for the buck on my wall right now is the EVH Stealth. Hands down. Don't even have to think about it. People ask me all the time, which amp should I get? I only got this much money. Get the Stealth. And you're not going to be going, oh, well, I wish I could get this, but I had to settle for the Stealth. You're not settling for it. Again, look at the horsepower around me. Look at all this shit. And I have a Stealth. So what does that tell you? This amp belongs with these because it can hold its own and it sounds incredible. So It's great. Let's see. Perrin Davis says, Tone Wars, why did you go with the 50 watt stealth over the 100 watt? I found the 100 watt to be a lot meaner and overall better for my taste. You know what? That's a great question. I had the 100 watt here, but I bought the 50 watt first because I couldn't find 100. They were hard to come by, and when the 50 watt came out, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get this, and I love it. But the 100 watt is fuller. It's got this fullness, and the furnace that's inside that thing for the red channel is just, oh my God. Well, you come home from working outside in the snow all day in the winter, you put your feet up next to that thing while someone's playing it on the red channel, you're going to burn your feet. I mean, that thing is just incredible. It had this hot kind of sound to it, and it was just, like you said, it's really mean. It's just really pissed off, and that amp is just incredible. So yeah, I mean, that's why I said if I ever do get rid of the 50, it's going to be because I got the 100. I prefer, the funny thing is though, is I kind of preferred the blue channel on the 50 because it was a little tighter, but I preferred the red channel on the 100. You know, maybe I could have dialed it in more, I don't know, but I think both are great though. They really are. So, yeah, and plus I don't have a lot of shelf space anymore, so you got to get some small ones every once in a while. Appreciate your question, though. Let's see. McKinley says, I was going to get one, but still got Kemper because I wanted the versatility. Tell you, man, Kemper's the best digital platform out there as far as amp tones go. It really is. As far as 4-cable method, Line 6 Helix. That's what I'm using tonight. I use it every night. I think it's phenomenal. Sounds good as far as the amp sims go, but I'll tell you, man, the Kemper, as far as the amp tones and stuff, the tone and feel, freaking unbeatable. That thing is incredible. But if you're going for a digital platform that has great effects, routing, switching, and all that, Line 6 Helix is freaking awesome. EVH rocks, Sean Casey says. Yeah, it does, man. It's freaking killer. Steve Venchek, KSR. I'll get to the KSR, buddy. Don't worry. It's coming. Gareth Smith, you recently had the Omega on this channel. Thanks for watching. I appreciate that. He said, how would you compare it to something like the KSR? The Omega seems to be a little hairier and the KSR a little more precise. Great question. My friend Steve could probably answer that as well if he's still in the chat, Steve Shaheen, because it was his amp. I think they're very comparable. They're very close. So that might be something that Steve's coming back on with his Omega because we're going to shoot it out with the Driftwood. That's going to be an awesome show. We'll go live and do that as well soon. But yeah, they're pretty close. I'd say very close. I bet you could probably dial them in to sound probably about 98% like each other, like that close. So they're both great amps though. You know, that was channel 2, if I remember. It was the rhythm channel. The lead channel, I don't know. We didn't compare those. We just compared the rhythm channel. So maybe the lead channel is different. So I'm probably going to get a Granifier. I got to talk to Mike Smith about that and see if I can get one and see how long it would take. But yeah, you'll probably see one of those on the show. And I also have a Mesa Barba coming. Mesa Barba. I got one of those coming from Italy within about 30 days. I ordered the Trinity, so that's going to be awesome as well. So keep your eyes open for that. Let's see, Bruce Clark. Should I get the 50 or 100? Like a good, clean, sparkling clean. Yeah, I mean, if you're not going to be moving it around a lot and you're just going to stay home and play and maybe do some studio stuff with it, I always say get the hundo. You know, the 100-watt amps, there is a thing there. They're fuller, bigger, the hotter furnace, you know, in there. They just got this big, full, warm sound. They're beefy as hell. Now, if you're gigging a lot with it, I mean, depending on your space and how much weight you like lifting and stuff like that, you go either way, but the 50 might be a little more portable and easier for you. So it just depends. But I always prefer 100 watters over anything else because they sound bigger, you know. And that's the thing. Like a lot of channels, you know, I'm not saying there's anything nefarious going on, but they don't mention that, and I don't think they're doing it on purpose. But it's just the mics don't pick up what the room's doing. A 100-watt amp will shake the walls, and it's something that you feel in the room, and that response, that reaction, that fullness, you know, all of that punch and all that stuff, and the air that they move. It's just a huge difference. You know, they just push more air, and you can really feel it. So when you're on stage and you got a 100-watt amp, and you got your cab next to you, I mean, you're going to feel it on stage. You're going to feel more authority in the notes that you play. It's just a fact, you know. But for a 50-watt amp and for the price, you can't beat the you know, the EVH Stealth. It's just unbeatable for the price. You really can't. Let's see here. All your amps are good, Bruce says. Thank you. I got some off camera. I'll do some more stuff like this when I can have time to have all these other amps on as well. Let's see. Bobcat says he loves the HX Effects 4CM. Yeah, it's great. Really is. Jared Hopper says, man, the 100-watt Stealth red channel is mean as hell, bro. It is, man. That is one of the most fun channels I've played in a long time. That channel will do anything you want it to do. It's just freaking incredible. JB50 what's going on, buddy? Yeah, sorry I didn't announce anything. It was kind of a last-minute thing. Like, these Wednesday night things are going to kind of be like that until I get caught up with work, because they're all game-time decisions. Sometimes I get home and I'm just freaking dead. But, yeah, I got some stories to tell you guys on Saturday when Carrie and I go live. It's you guys are going to be cracking up, man. And probably shocked, too, as some crazy stuff happened this week. But we'll talk about that some next week, or this coming couple days. Bruce Clark says, I gig once a month. I mean, if you gig once a month and you don't mind carrying the 100-watt, it's worth the wait, because that thing just, it'll slay. I mean, that thing will sound freaking mean as hell, and you won't regret it. But, you know, the thing is like, it really comes down to reality, you know? Everybody's, I mean, I love to bring this whole wall of amps to a gig and just melt faces, but, I mean, the reality is, it's just, I can't, you know? It's just not worth it, you know? So you just have to weigh all that stuff in and think about, like, once the honeymoon phase of taking that amp to the first several gigs is over, after a while you're going to be like, oh my God, I got to lug this thing. But if you don't think that's going to be the case, then get the Hundy. The Hundy is the way to go. Hundy meaning 100-watt. Marty V, you have a Mesa Barba on the way. Yes, sir. Yep. I saw Kyle Bull's video. And it kind of reminded me, I've been talking to Tim Warner for about a year and a half about those amps, and I've been thinking about getting them, and then Kyle went live with one the other day, and I was just like, that reminds me, I got to contact them guys, so I talked to them. You know, what's funny is the distributor in America here, one of the guys that works there, actually used to be the guitar player for the Babies. So if that's, you know, that was really cool to be able to talk to him, because I grew up listening to his stuff, you know, and I think he's a cool guy. His name's JP, and really cool guy. Enjoyed talking to him, and yeah, I was a big fan of the Babies when I was growing up. So Midnight Rendezvous, all those songs. I mean, it's one of the first songs I learned, you know. So it was really cool talking to him on the phone. I was like, wait a minute. So it was, yeah, I can't wait, and I'll probably have JP on. He offered to do an interview, and I'm like, well, of course. Super passionate about guitar, tone, music, all that stuff. So it's going to be fun having him on. Oh, Marty says he can't come to the Guitar Summit, looking for a new job. Oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, I mean, hopefully, I mean, see, when we post the new date, if we need to, maybe the time will work out better for you. We'll have to see how that works out. But, man, it'd be nice to meet you, dude. So hopefully you can make it, but good luck on the new job. I appreciate that very much. I hope it works out, buddy. Let's see here. Garrett Smith, can't wait to get my Gemini back from Kyle. Thanks for the detailed answer about the Omega. Great channel, man. Thank you. Appreciate that very much, and you're welcome, buddy. John Dabrowski, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. Yeah, appearance is the 100 watts bigger and warmer, like Jared said. It really is. I mean, it's noticeable. You know, it really is. It's something the mics won't pick up, but when you're in the room, that's when it matters, man. All right, so let's move on to number 3. which is the JP Mark IIc Plus. All right, 1 second here. I'm on channel 2. It's just dialed in for a good crunch rhythm and maybe a little bit of a lead tone. 1 second. Scratch that. That I was on the clean setting on the Helix where there's no overdrive and there's a bunch of weird effects that did not match with that. So let me do that again. I don't want you to have a bad impression of this amp. 1 second. Nice. Yeah, that is a more focused amplifier. It's not small. It sounds huge. I mean, the low end coming out of this cab right now is about to break this chair in half. You know, it's got a lot of great low end, but it's got this like focused top end on it. It doesn't sound small. It's just a little more focused, and the stops on the chugs and the palm mutes, that power section is just stopping it stops on a dime. It's just very tight, very percussive, and very focused. So if you want a sound that's kind of like that, the JP Mark IIc Plus is definitely for you. It's got 3 channels. It's got an awesome clean channel. It's got a really good channel 2 and channel 3 are identical if you want them to be, or they could be as far apart away from each other as you want them to be as well, because you have two EQs here with the sliders on them, and you can assign each one to whatever channel that you want. So you can do all that, and it has shred mode, which really tightens it up even more. It's got MIDI, it's got all the cab clone stuff on it. It's just a great amp, lots of features. I would say that's one of the more versatile amps on the shelf as well. Touring guitar player's dream, because it's all MIDI controllable. You can hook any MIDI device up to it and control everything easily, and it just sounds incredible. Great freaking amp. I mean, John Petrucci plays it, and he's one of the best guitar players out there. I would say in my opinion, he's the best guitar player out there. I'm a huge fan of his. And so what I'm going to do now is switch to the clean channel and show you what that sounds like. 1 second. Okay, so now let's hear it without effects. I think I turned them all off. 1 second. Great clean channel, just piano-like, very warm, very chimey. Pretty much what most people would look for in a clean channel. And these channels are all independent, so you have all independent EQ on each one of these channels, and then you again have 2 assignable exterior EQs with the sliders on them for you can assign to either one of these three channels as well. Just really, really good amp, very versatile. You even have pull gain. You have more gain if you pull the gain out, and you have more presence if you pull the presence. And if you go past noon on the mid, you get more gain on that as well. So there's a lot of cool little Easter eggs in the amplifier as well. I think it sounds incredible. Definitely, every time I play it, I'm still blown away at how good it sounds. And the thing is, with Mesa, a lot of people don't realize this, but they are a boutique amp company. You know, it's not like their amps are built on in some big factory by a bunch of people. There's a small team of people that build these, and if you doubt that, call them and ask for an amp, and they'll tell you how long you'll have to wait for it. It's a boutique company, so their stuff is very, very good stuff. I think it's right up there with any other boutique company, and they've been around a long freaking time, you know, and they just make incredible stuff. So I'll play a couple more riffs on this amp, and I'll move on to the next one. 1 second. Yeah, I had to do a mix with that. I haven't dialed it in for a mix. Hopefully that sounded good to you guys. It sounded okay in my ears, but yeah, I mean, that amp, that's a keeper. Total keeper. And the thing that I like so far about the collection is everything's very unique. I don't have all these Me Too amps. You know, they don't all sound like each other at all. They all have their own thing. And I don't want a collection where they're all the same. It's like, well, then why buy any of them? Just stick with the one that they all sound like. I mean, I'm trying to have a very eclectic thing here for you guys, so that we can compare things, for myself, because hey, I want to play them, and for, you know, profiling and stuff like that. Why not? You know, I mean, I got to pay for them somehow. You know, so I just think this is a really good collection so far. I'm real happy with it, and it's growing, and I'm very proud of it. So yeah, so if you're looking for something that's bold, very, very, you know, tight and percussive, big sounding, but focused, and has a lot of great character, and you love that Mesa sound, I mean, then this is a great amp for you. Again, tons of features. You got shred mode, you have MIDI, you have 3 independent channels, and they all sound incredible. And like I was saying earlier, kind of like with the Rev, the channels 2 and 3 are pretty much the same, but you can make them sound vastly different from each other, or exactly the same and make one a little tighter for rhythms and one a little looser and liquidy for leads, which is kind of how I have it set up. Very little difference between the two. It's subtle, but it's good enough and works for me. And I kind of follow John Petrucci's kind of school of thought with the tones, with the leads. You want to bump the mids a hair, take some of the super highs down, because you don't want to pierce everybody's ears with your high notes. But on a rhythm channel, you want it to be very tight and percussive and a little more high end, so it's got that really nice staccato kind of choppiness to it that at least I look for in a rhythm channel. And then the clean, you just want it to be really warm, bright, chimey, and full, and just sound very piano-like. So, and it just does a great job at all those. So I'll answer any questions that you have and move on to the next one in a second here. The next one, the next one's a Driftwood. Let's see here. See, Bobby Lucky, the power you need in an amp depends on the proximity to and how loud the drummer is. Can't wait to hear the stories. Oh yeah, dude. I mean, you definitely need... there's people that show up and they have a loud drummer and they can't hear their amp, you know, and they don't have that headroom. The 100 watts, man, you can never defeat a 100 watt amp. I mean, they're always going to be loud enough for you, you know, especially if they're voiced properly. Let's see. Bruce Clark, will the 100 watt go good with my vintage series? Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, that's what I'm playing everything through tonight. Is my 212 Mesa with vintage 30s in it, and I think it sounds incredible with the 100 watt Stealth. I think it would sound freaking amazing. I don't think you'll need to get another cab at all. Just get it. I honestly think you'll love it. And when you get it, let me know. You know, I think you'll love it. The only one I'm going to switch cabs when I go to the Mesa, or when I go to the Diezel, because that thing will blow up my cab. Because that's a 120 watt amp. That's a 180. That's a 180 watt amp. That's a 120 watt cab. So I'll have to switch to my Diezel cab for that. Let's see here. A little known trick for Perrin Davis says, little known trick for the 100 watt Stealth is to crank the volume and use the pre-gain as actual volume. As long as you don't need to be extra super loud, it sounds really nice. Oh, that's cool. And with the clean channel, you turn the gain almost all the way down, like all the way down, and then just nudge it on the first spot, and then it cleans up perfectly. It's the Easter egg Eddie put in there for us. Anything past that, it's dirty. And I was like wondering, I'm like, why isn't this clean channel clean up? It's like weird. And all of a sudden I went below the first notch, and I was like, oh, there it is. Just instantly cleaned up. I thought that was really cool for people who like the edge of breakup stuff. Steve Wellart, some purple driftwood, please. Yep, that's coming up next. I'll get to it in just a second. I just want to make sure I read these comments, especially when people tag me in them. JB, are you still doing the community jams? I would like to get involved in that and record some videos for it. I am just too busy this summer. I am actually trying to finish grad school. Hey, man, no problem. Shoot me an email. I don't think I put my email up there today, but... let me know if you have my email. It should be, I always have it in the description of all my videos, and I forgot to put it in tonight's, but they're in all the other descriptions of every other live stream I've done. And then I'll send you some backing tracks, and then you can take your time and write whatever you want with them, and let me know when you're done with them, and send me the links, and I'll put you on the show. Absolutely. Okay, that JP2C clean channel is amazing, JB says. Oh, it is. It's just a freaking great clean channel. You can't go wrong with it. Wait till you hear the Herbie. They're both great, but man, that Herbie, oh God, is that glorious. Bruce Clark, do you like the PRS Archon 100? I've never played one, but I have the 50 over there, and I thought it was a really good amp. I liked it very much. Thought it was really good. Frankie Boots, what noise gate do you use? Well, right now I have noise gates, like there's one on the Precision Drive. That's one of the reasons why I love that pedal. I also, some of these amps have noise gates in them. And like the Purple Nightmare does, the Rev does, what else does, Savage does, yeah, so, but I also have noise gates in my Helix as well, just in case. I put a couple in there, and they work really well. Nick Tremblay, are you still using the Precision Drive as your boost? Yes, I am. I use that. I use the Eros, and I cycle through them, but Precision Drive is pretty much my go-to for the most part. That's kind of like my staple, and every time I'm looking for something different, I'll step on the Eros instead and mess around with that, but I do love the Precision. David had to find a better place to hide. I'm at work. I'm going to tell your boss. That's hilarious, dude. I appreciate you risking your career to watch this show. Tossing up between the rock reverb and the grandifier. David says, man, I think the rock reverb's a good amp. It just depends. I mean, if you're looking for something that slays big time and has probably more aggression and grit to it, I'd say the grandifier would be the way to go. Or like if you want that, you know, I think that the orange, they got their own thing going on. If you just have to have that tone, I get it, then get that, you know. I think they're both great. It just comes down to which one has more stuff. For me, I would get the grandifier because it just suits my taste better. I think the rock reverb's cool, but you don't see one on my shelf for a reason. It just doesn't 100% do it for me. You know, it just kind of, I think it's good, but it's just not my taste. But I do understand why people like them. I really do, and I respect that very much. How's the Badlander, Luke says. It's coming up. It's a great amp. It really is. It's coming up. The Precision and the Helix or the real pedal, Bobcat. You can use either. I think the Helix Line 6 did a great job when they modeled that pedal, and I couldn't tell the difference. So you could go either way. But I use the real one because I paid for it. It's here. Might as well just use it. But I don't have a problem using the one in the Helix either. Jem Moore, thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate it. Are you doing the PV? No, I don't have that hooked up tonight. Great question, though. I only have 8 slots on my switcher, and tonight all I had was, you know, the ones that were hooked up there. And but I'll do another one of these, and I'll hook up different amps next time for you guys. I'll be happy to do that for you. You're welcome, David. You're welcome. All right, so now the pièce de résistance. Let's switch to the Driftwood. All right, let's check this bad boy out. 1 second. Okay, so this amp is all right. I just got to get out of the way. All right, look at this thing. It is the most unique, most beautiful, most ridiculous amp out there. I mean, it's so freaking unique. It's very, very, very unique. I mean, there's nothing here that sounds like it. I'm so glad I bought it because it's just got its own thing. Is it my favorite? It's one of them, for sure. It just sounds so freaking gnarly. It's the driest amp that I have. I don't usually go for dry amplifiers. I'll mute it. I don't usually go for dry amplifiers because they make me feel insecure when I play them, and they just get kind of... They point out all your mistakes a little too much, but this one here has just enough grease in it, just enough forgiveness in it, just enough chewiness in it, and saturation to kind of make me be okay with how dry it is. Because like I've played like, you know, the VHT stuff, and those are too dry for me. I think they're great, but just too dry. This amp, is just as rewarding as it is forgiving, if that makes sense. If it was any drier, I'd be like, oh God, it's too dry. But it's not. It really is like the perfect amount of dryness for me. I just think it sounds incredible. In fact, that riff that I played, I just wrote a whole song, and my friend TJ, who you guys have seen on the show, he's actually got his own recording kind of gig. I recorded a whole song that I'll be playing for you guys very soon, called Night Terrors. That's kind of a creepy song because of this amp. The first 10 minutes I owned this amplifier, I wrote the whole song. Literally, I wrote the whole thing. And this amp is what inspired it. So it just sounds absolutely incredible, and inspired me to write a song within 10 minutes of buying it and you know, of getting it and firing it up. I'll play some more riffs for you. I know you guys are waiting for that. So it has an effects loop. It has a mute button, has its own built-in tube screener, which sounds great. And it has Master 1, Master 2, and it has its own effects, or I said effects loop, but I meant to say noise gate. It's got its own built-in noise gate as well. It has a clean channel and a dirty channel with 2 different gain levels on it. I got it on the high gain because, yeah, of course. And it has a sizzle switch, which I will demonstrate that for you now. So I'm going to start with the sizzle switch off. So I'll go ahead and put it off right now. So it's in neutral. And then I'm going to play a riff on the pedal with a DI. And I'm going to put it to stage 1 and then stage 2 for you. All right, here we go. Okay, so I'll be very descriptive of what I'm experiencing here in the room. The single notes that you play on this, and that's why I wrote that riff I'll play for you in a second again, is because the single notes on this amplifier are so thick and so gnarly, and they just have this horrendous scowl to them. It's just, and I mean that in a good way. They're just so nasty that it makes you want to play a lot of single notes, but then when you play the chords, you're like, oh my God. It's just so thick and responsive, and just, it's got, I mean, this amp has texture for days. I mean, just tons and tons and tons of awesome texture. It just sounds amazing. Yeah, let me, so the sizzle switch gave you that little more top end, it's subtle, probably with the mics in the room, you'll notice it more. And the frequencies that Marek chose to push on this were great. 1 second, I'll play some more stuff for you on it with the sizzle switch in my favorite position, which is stage 2. All you can do is laugh. That amp is so freaking unruly and nasty and just filthy, dirty, stinking, rotten, god awful, nightmarish. It's just insane. I mean, and for a dry amp, it just, I don't know. There's just something he did with this amp to make it so dry, but so saturated just enough, and so just I can't explain it. It's just mean. Picture the meanest person you know, and like kick the dude's dog and set his house on fire, and now see how mean he is. That's how mean this amp is. I mean, it's just incredibly mean. It's just nasty, you know? No manners at all. Seriously, no manners. I mean, this thing doesn't care about you at all. It hates you. I think it's trying to kill me when I'm playing it, and it's just and the longer I'm alive when I play it, the more pissed off it gets that I'm not dead and it's not drinking my blood from a boot. That's how nasty, mean, and filthy and horrendous this amp is, and I freaking love it. I mean, it scares the crap out of me. You know, I mean, and it's glorious. I mean, it's beautiful. You got this nice piece of, flame maple on here, and you can have any color you want. My favorite color is purple, so why not? And it's just so freaking unique. It's just very unique. So if you're looking for something that's unique, hand-built by one dude, and just has its own thing going on, there's your baby right there. Now, obviously, the tone and feel and all that stuff has to work for you as well, but this is the most unique amp that I have. I mean, again, look at it. I mean, it looks unique. Everything about it's unique. It looks unique. It sounds unique. It feels unique. It has unique features. You can get it with MIDI. This one doesn't have MIDI, but you can get it with MIDI. And it has built-in overdrive. So I mean that you don't see a lot of amps of those like that at all. You can look at probably 100 amps and not see one with a built-in overdrive. And the built-in overdrive in this amp actually sounds really good. Let me demonstrate that. So I'm going to turn off my precision drive and engage the overdrive in there, which is TS9. 1 second. I mean, that's just. I mean, if it's a little tighter, I have the gate up right at top dead center in the back, which might be a little much for that overdrive. But for the Horizon, it pushes it a little harder, so it worked better. But I just adjust the gate, and I'd be back in business. So, like, yeah, it's great. That would be a great rhythm recording setting right there, especially for reamping. I mean, it's just so responsive. And the things I noticed about this amplifier, right away, one of the things I noticed about it was without a noise or without a overdrive, I think it sounds really good, but it was built for being pushed. Merrick loves overdrives. I talked to him on the phone. Great guy, by the way, very smart guy. And he built this amp to love pedals. To love overdrive pedals, and he's a big overdrive guy himself. That's why he built one in the amp. So it was built around that in a way. I'm not saying you have to have one, but I always think every amp sounds better with one. But this one was really as soon as I hit engage the overdrive on this amp, it comes to life. It's just like, oh, there it is. There's that gear, that sixth gear. You know what I mean? Where you're like, where is it? You're grinding, then it pops in, and then you're off to the races. You freaking go. I mean, this amp just slays with an overdrive. And it's so percussive and tight, and, it's just kind of like, it's almost like an exaggerated sound, but I mean that in a good way. It's not too exaggerated. It's just enough. So it's just got this, like, yeah, I guess it's an exaggeration of anger in this amplifier. It's just absolutely incredible. So if you're looking for something like, yeah, it's $3,400 for this version of it. And I know that's a lot of money for people. Like, a lot of people are like, yeah, it's a lot of money, but dude, it's hand built. And by one guy. Now there's some American amps that are hand built by several people, and the guy that owns the company doesn't even touch them unless they're going out the door. He just tests them and makes sure they're good. And I guess that's fine. There's no problem with that, but they're expensive amps too. It's the it's the analogy I always use. I mean, Jesus was a carpenter. How much more would his table that he built, cost rather than somebody who built one like his? You know what I'm saying? His would cost a lot more than, well, Bob built one to his specs. Well, so what? His is the original. So like Merrick, the owner of Driftwood, built this amp himself. So you got some guys' blood, sweat, and tears, and dreams, and hopes, and nightmares in this amplifier, and I think that really brings a lot of value to it as well. I think I missed a couple things here. Let me scroll back. Dean Harkness, thank you so much for the super chat. Very much appreciate that. Let's see here. And Jennifer, That's hilarious. Hyperbole Kid, Driftwood versus with Mesa Cab is badass. Angry and chewy. Nice. Oh, you're right, dude. I mean, it's just, I honestly think the Driftwood sounds best through vintage 30s. At least, I think the K100s are great, but just for some reason, it just gels with the vintage 30s very, very nicely. I just think it sounds incredible. I'm telling you, if you love a bit of an exaggerated tone, and I mean that in a good way, the Driftwood would be right up your alley. There's so much texture that in a room it does not get lost. In a mix, it does not get lost. And can you imagine this amp double tracked? Oh my God. I mean, it's just stupid, just freaking stupid. Let's see here. See, KS, what's going on, buddy? Let's see here, Bruce Clark. Just catching up to you guys. Paul Smith, the Driftwood is nasty. Oh, it is. It's just a nasty, freaking savage, just ridiculous amp. Trying to catch up to you guys. KS. Is the Driftwood KT88s or 6L6s? Ah, good question. It's both. It's half and half. So I'm glad you asked this question, because with this amplifier, you can mix and match. You can get KT88s and 6L6s mixed up, all KT88s, all EL34s. You can mix and match anything you want. Half 6L6, half ELs. I mean, whatever you want, man. He'll make it however you want. So I think that's great, because a lot of guys like, oh, should I get 6L6 or should I get EL34? Gosh, I don't know. Get half and half. Best of both worlds, man. Why not? That's unique too. I'm glad you brought that up. So there's another unique thing about this amp. So I would say that the Rev is the most versatile amp that I have, but the Driftwood is the most unique amp that I have. And it's not unique for unique's sake. Like, oh, let's make it weird. So no, it sounds like crap, but it's unique. No, it sounds amazing and it's unique. So it's hard to stay within the confines of great tone and still remain unique these days with all the different amplifiers out there. But Merrick absolutely nailed it right to the floor. Let me switch to the clean channel real quick so you can hear that, and then we'll move on. Obviously, no effects. So warm. I mean, the resonance coming out of this cab is just incredible, and there's no too much top end or anything like that going on. It's just a very full, very, very warm, amazing clean channel. So the clean channel was not an afterthought. I think it's just as unique as the high gain channel. It really is. It just sounds phenomenal. So can't go wrong with it. I just think it's a great amp. I think it's unique enough where it's not going to suit everyone's taste. Some people might be like, oh, it's might be a little too much for some people. But hey, I like to go nuts, man. So nothing's ever too much for me, because I like to have something that's too much that I can tame and pull back a little than something that once everything's floored, it's still not enough. I'd rather have too much than not enough. That's the way I look at it. Let's see here. Just trying to catch up to you guys. Warmcore, what's going on, Jay? What's going on, buddy? Finally got my power back on after being off since 3 p.m. Yeah, good, dude. I'm glad you got your power on, man. Congrats. Sorry I couldn't pick up, but obviously you know why, because I was doing this. Jason Taylor would love to see a show where you run Kemper into various amp power sections, and if you get your hands on a power stage, and or orange pedal baby and compare the tone against the actual amps. That's a great idea. I'm going to screenshot that. Boom, screenshotted. Yeah, what I can tell you is I can assure you that running your Kemper into a tube power section, like KSR makes a really nice portable power amp, and I had the Syn 5050 from Synergy, was a huge improvement over the solid state stuff. I mean, it just sounded way more lively, warmer, bigger, fuller, fatter. It just had a better low end, more natural. I get why people have to use the solid state stuff for travel and stuff, but especially in the room, and that's where you listen to your guitar most of the times when you're practicing in a room, you will notice a major difference between a tube power section and a solid state one. No disrespect towards the solid state stuff, but it is what it is. There's an undeniable difference between them. But again, I do understand why people use the solid state stuff, because sometimes you just got to travel light, and I totally get that. But I'd be happy to do that when I get the chance. Feel free to remind me down the road, because like right now I'm slammed with all this stuff. But Jared Hopper, I would like to take my pillow in there and take a nap by the amps to make sure they're okay. Well, the Purple Nightmare will scare the crap out of you while you're sleeping. So, Christian Yard, rather have too much than not enough. Exactly, right? I mean, why not have too much? You can always pull it back, but you can't. You know, once you got something at 10, it's still not enough for you. What are you going to do? You know, I love headroom. Headroom is good. JB50 Watt says, Tone Wars, how does the JP15 sound compared to the Majesty? Compared to the Majesties? The JP15. Oh, I thought you were talking about amps. Oh, yeah, I'll show you. So the JP15, it's got a roasted maple neck, so it's a little brighter. It's a little more spank to it. I think it sounds great, and then the reason why I love this guitar, the JP15, though, is I drop tuned it quite a bit, and because of the brightness of the guitar, it's got that nice bite to it for the drop tuning stuff that I play. Let me switch to that real quick for you, okay? Bear with me 1 second, and I'll show you what that sounds like. And while we're on the Purple Nightmare, might as well see how that does with a very low-tuned guitar. Let me get this bad boy over here. I have not played this guitar in a very long time, so I didn't even get a chance to tune it for tonight's show, so I don't even know what the deal is with the tuning. Usually it stays in tune really well, but find out. Bear with me for a minute here, guys. I'm doing kind of again, a loose show tonight because I don't have time to prep a lot of stuff right now because I'm slammed. Yeah, it's a little off here. Yeah, this is drop G. So this is really low. Alright, let's see what this sounds like. 1 second. Wait until I haven't played this in a while. I think the neck's backbowed a little. But, yeah, this, I think it sounded great with it, though. I think it sounded really good. It's got that nice bite. You know, yeah. So these are a little brighter, a little spankier. I prefer, typically, for like standard and maybe a half step down tunings, I like the warmth and the kind of little bit of a darkness that the mahogany, you know, neck and bodies and, you know, all that have on the ebony fretboards, you know, have on the Majesties. And honestly, the access to higher frets is definitely better too, but I do still love this guitar. I got to start playing it more. It's one of those things, you know, I just haven't been playing it that much. I haven't been playing it much at all because I've been so busy, but that's going to change this year. I definitely set a goal for myself to start playing more after my season's finished, because I definitely have to make that a priority. You know, I'm slipping. But that's what happens when you're slammed. Anyways, hopefully that helped you out. Okay, so moving on. I think a lot of people would rather I just stayed on the Driftwood for the rest of the night because it's that good of an amp and that unique, but it really is a great amp. So again, if you're thinking about getting a Driftwood and you want to be, you know, unique and you love that unique stuff, I'm telling you, it's such a good amp. And they do have MIDI as an option if you need that. It's definitely something I would suggest. You know, MIDI's something that a lot of people take for granted until they use it, and then they're like, oh my god, that's such a cool feature, you know. So let me see if anybody's tagged me in anything. Oh, someone asked me where the Splon was. I apologize, I forgot who that was. Jason Lewis. It's right over there. It's right across the room. I still have it, still love it. I just didn't have room on the shelf for it today, but it'll be cycling in and out of the shelf for sure. It'll be on here sometime very soon. You could play some Meshuggah on the guitar. Yeah, you could. It's drop tune low enough. I mean, you could definitely do that. I'm not familiar with their music enough to know any of their riffs, but you could definitely do that. Let's see here. JP, what's going on, man? He said, if your house was on fire and you only had time to grab 2 amps and run out, what amps would you grab? What would you, and why would you choose those? Probably the lightest ones, because I want to survive. No, if I had time, I would grab the Savage. I'd probably grab the Savage and the Driftwood. You know, right now, that's what I would grab. And I would bawl my eyes out for weeks because the Diezel and the rest of them died in the fire. I'd never get over it, but that Diezel is so freaking big and heavy. I probably wouldn't, you know, make it out of here alive with that thing. It's so big. But probably those two, the Savage and the Driftwood, because I just think that they are the most unique amps that I have. The Engel Savage has its own thing going on, and we'll get to that for sure. It's just very unique. I love every channel on that amp. They all do really great stuff. The clean channel's great. Channel 2 is like one of the best rhythm channels you could use or you could get. Sounds great. There's several versions of that channel in the amplifier itself that you can have, so for versatility. And channel 4 is just a rage monster, very saturated, very gainy, very just, it's just so angry and nasty. I love it. I feel very confident with that amp. And channel 3 is quirky and amazing, and that's like the redheaded stepchild of that amplifier, but it belongs in the family and everybody loves that kid because when stuff gets real, they call on the redheaded stepchild and he takes care of business, and that's what channel 3 is on that amplifier. The awesome redheaded stepchild of that amp is just so quirky and amazing, and you could do things on that channel that you cannot do on any other amp, and it sounds incredible. So yeah, that's why, and then the Driftwood because of the reasons that I said earlier. It's just angry, nasty, very unique. It's got the perfect amount of exaggerated sounds that I love in amplifiers, and I just think there's nothing else like it on the market. So, yeah, but again, all the rest of them, I would probably risk my life, come back and get those too, because these are all incredible amps. It's really hard to pick It's like you have 3 kids and you can only grab 2 and your house is on fire. Which one's you gonna? You know what I mean? It's kind of like answering that. But I appreciate your question. Let's see here. Okay, got a spammer here. I don't know what's going on with this dude. Timeout. There. You're in timeout. Okay, so JB50 says, Engel amps have always interested me a lot. Which would you suggest I go for if I decide to get one in the future? The Savage? Yeah. Tom Cruise could land on that. That's hilarious. Yeah, JB, I would just get the Savage. I think I've compared it to every other Engel amplifier out there, and it always sounds, in my opinion, the best. Depending on what you're looking for, I think they're all great, but the Savage is like the mothership, if you ask me. I just think it's got everything that you would ever want, and especially in an Engel. It's very unique, and it sounds incredible. As MIDI, you can assign 2 different presence knobs, 2 different masters to everything, and you have the EQ, independent EQs on all the channels, and you also have the mid boost. I mean, there's just so many tonal tweaking features on it. It's just insane. It just has it all. So, all right. So one last riff on the Driftwood, and then we'll move on. God, that amp is just so nasty. Oh my god. Dude, the spammer dude, get out of here, man. What the hell are you doing? Alright. Alright, boom. Alright, see ya. Get lost, prick. Okay, so let's move on to the Badlander. Alright, let me play a couple riffs on that. Yeah, that's also a really good amp. So basically, the Badlander is like a lot of people like, back in the day and still do love the dual Rex and triple Rex, But there was this thing about the triple Rex and dual Rex that they had this fizz on top and this flubbiness on the bottom, which worked, but what they did is they sculpted it on the Badlander and really took all that stuff out and really fine-tuned the amplifier, revoiced it, and basically there's no extras in this amp as far as tone goes. It's like everything you need. It just has everything you need. Even the gain, I got the gain cranked on it, and yeah, I could probably go down to 3 o'clock and get away with it, especially for rhythms, but you know, I use all the gain in it, especially for leads. For rhythms, I'd probably be at 3 o'clock on it. I think it sounds great, feels great, has a really good sound. I always enjoy playing this amplifier. So if you're looking for a more streamlined dual rec, I think the Badlander is it for you. I really do. I think it just does a great job. The only minor complaint, and it's not really a complaint, but it's just something that I have to mention about the amplifier, is the clean channel can be a bit small sounding. Okay, it's a bit. We crank the bass all the way up on it, so especially when you compare it to like a Driftwood or something else, the clean channel on it can be a little small. I'll show you now. Okay, it's a little on the it's just right there, like almost where it's starting to hurt my ears. And I have the tone, or I have the treble at about 10 o'clock, and I have the presence at about between 9 and 10 o'clock, and I got the bass all the way up on it. So that's the issue that I have with it. It's not bad. It's just it could be better. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So, and if you've seen my video where I compared the Driftwood and the Badlander, you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm going to switch between them now on the clean channels and show you the difference, and you'll hear a huge difference between them right now. I'll start with the Badlander. Here we go. Okay, that's the difference, and I have them volume, pretty much volume matched because I just did that shootout not too long ago with them. It's just there's so much more low end and warmth out of the Purple Nightmare. So again, it's not a bad clean channel. It's just I think there's other clean channels that I prefer. As far as the gain channels, the crunch and rhythm and the lead on it, or the crunch and crush, I think they're great. I think if you like the Mesa stuff, but again, there's guys that are like, man, I'd love to get one of those dual Rex, but man, they're too flubby and too fizzy for me. Even though that actually worked for a long time, and still, to my ears, sounds really good. The Badlander's for you then, because it doesn't have all that stuff. It's just it's like a photoshopped version of a dual rec. Took all the crap out and just gave you all the good stuff, and they revoiced it, and I think they did a really good job. I really do. Great freaking amplifier. I love it. I love playing it through the aux box. I've written a lot of solos and stuff on it. I play my backing tracks down here with it and listen to it on my Cali audio speakers, the LP6s, and I just think it sounds incredible through the aux box as well. So, great amp. I think it's, if you're a Mesa guy, you love Mesa, I think it's one of the no-brainer Mesa amps. I really do. I just think it sounds incredible. If you don't use the clean channel a lot, then who cares what I said about the clean channel? If it's something that, now if you're trying to decide now, well, if I love Mesa, but which amp should I get, because I do use a lot of cleans. I'm not saying that this clean channel wouldn't work for you. I'm just saying that there's better ones. I would say that the JP has a better clean channel. It's just warmer, fuller, and just better. So I would, and I think the tone on the JP is great as well. But again, they're both really good. It just depends on your taste. Something that you can do to fix that slight issue with the Badlander clean channel is just get a compressor and squish that top end spike down a little bit, and it kind of fills it up a little bit. So put a compressor in front of it, and problem solved. You know, so that's something you can do as well. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that spam dude, but I just blocked him, so I think we're rid of his. Sick of him. Let's see here. Yeah, hopefully we got rid of all that. With the Badlander, I think a dedicated clean channel would have been good, but the gain channels are amazing. No, you're right, JB. It's definitely something that I agree with. And that's the thing. Sometimes when you're having a channel that shares 3 different voicings, like you've got a clean, and then you have a crunch and a crush, you know, I think that there's some compromises that need to be made, and typically they'll make those compromises on the clean channel. So I totally get what they did. I respect it, but at the same time, you know, sometimes people don't really care about the clean channel. So that's usually the sacrificial lamb on an amplifier. So I get it, you know. So McKinley says, I have an orange pedal baby, and it definitely sounds more authentic sounding with any Kemper over a Seymour Duncan. Yeah, you're right. I would have to agree with that, because the Seymour Duncan stuff is nice as it is for the portability and stuff. There's this like smallness to it, and this inorganic, I don't know really what to say. It just sounds smaller and cold. There's a coldness there, and I know it sounds cork sniffery, but I'm telling you, when you're in the room and you compare them, it's like night and day. You're like, oh my God, there's a girth thing that's missing on some of that stuff. I haven't tried the pedal baby, but I can imagine that it sounds better, because I wasn't really impressed with the Seymour Duncan. You know, Arch Druid, would you ever blend 2 amps together in stereo effects using ABY cable? Yeah, why not? I mean, 2 amps are always better than 1. I would absolutely do that. Why not? Especially in a recording. If I ever do a studio recording, I would love to do 2 different amps. One on one side, one on the other. Hard pan them either way, and you have a much bigger sound. You know, because they all do their own thing, and all those frequencies that one projects, the other might not project them all, and then it fills in other areas that the other one didn't. So you got this nice big wall of sound. So, Cam Reese, keep doing your thing, man. I work all the time, too, and have almost no time. But playing guitar and watching your streams are something I look forward to. Keep fighting the good fight. Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate that very much. It's been really tough for me lately to come on and do this, because I've been so busy, and usually I'm just half done when I get home. I'm just tired. When you're squeezing a trigger all day, washing buildings and gripping hoses and doing this for 8 hours, you know, washing huge buildings, when you get home, you have claw hand. Your hand is just stuck in this position. It's just hard to do anything. So, but it's just as painful for me to not do these as well. So I'm always kind of stuck in the middle. But I appreciate the kind words. Seriously, it's comments like that keep me going, man. I really appreciate it. Let's see here. Okay, so I'm glad that the orange pedal baby works. I'll have to try that out and do a shootout with it. I really appreciate the heads up on that. All right, so now let's move on to one of my favorite amplifiers of all time, and that is the Engel Savage Mark II. It's a 120 watt amp, and we are on channel 4 right now. Okay, let me switch over to that. Nice and quiet, because it's got a. There's a difference between an amp with a effects or a noise gate and one not. There's the Badlander, which is still pretty quiet. There's the Savage Mark II with the noise gate. All right, here we go. That's another amp that has zero manners, zero Fs. This amp was built to destroy. I mean, it just was. I mean, it just sounds amazing. I mean, so how I have it set up, this is channel 4, and I have the contour on. I think the contour is amazing. It gives that nice mid hump that just fills it up really nice. But it can sound like two different amps. I'll demonstrate that now. I'll start with the contour on, and I'll turn it off while I'm playing and show you the difference. 1 second. Okay, that's channel 4. Let's go to channel 3 or channel 2, which is the main rhythm crunch channel. I had channel 4 is kind of dialed in for leads right now, so it was a little too gainy for rhythms, but I just wanted to show you what it sounded like. So now we're on channel 2, which is basically the rhythm channel. Tight as hell, amazing. Here we go. Okay, so that was channel 2. Still can play leads on it. It's got plenty of gain for that. Just freaking amazing. Just a crazy, awesome, ridiculous amplifier. Plenty of power, plenty of headroom. Lots of great tonal options. I mean, you have tons of mid options. You have mid-lean, mid-bold on the channel 2, which really helps you sculpt the tone, and this thing can sound like 20 different amps. I'm not kidding you. It's just stupid. It just sounds amazing. So if you like that less dry but more saturated kind of amplifier, and it's very unique, I would tell you to get the Savage. And anybody here that has a Savage can definitely attest to that. I actually did a dial-in video on this amplifier, and Engel reached out to me and thanked me for that. That was kind of cool. Yeah, and watch that video. It's a really in-depth video, and I hope you enjoy that. I mean, I went through every feature on the amp and played it in mixes and did all kinds of settings on it. And this amp is very versatile. The number one thing I would have to say to you on this amplifier is if you have it and you're not satisfied with it, I can guarantee you I know why. It's because you don't have your channel volumes cranked on it. If it doesn't sound full and ridiculous enough for you, it's because you have your channel volumes too low. This amplifier breathes so much fire and is so much fuller, warmer, and just fatter when you crank the channel volumes. So I'm on channel 2 right now, and I'm going to go ahead and cut the channel volume down and see if you can notice how much it thins the amp out. I know it'll decrease in volume. There's not much I can do about that in here, but I'm just showing you what this thing does. So if you have this amplifier, again, crank the channel volumes all the way up on the gain channels. It just sounds way better. It sounds choked if you don't. So 1 second. Oh my God, I don't know what's going on with all this spamming tonight. Okay. Sorry about that. I don't know what the hell's going on with all that crap, but okay, anyways, so that's, I know probably with the mics and all that, it probably sounds fine, but in the room I could tell it just thinned out. It still sounds okay, but I was like, man, I was hoping for something more. You know, when I got this amp and I first started playing it, I was like, man, I just wish it sounded fuller. And I discovered that you just crank the volume, the channel volume all the way up and then attenuate with the master. That's why it gives you 2 masters. So you can do all that. And then just the amp just filled in. Just all the rage came in. It just sounded incredible. So that's the difference right there, you know, with this amplifier. So just attenuate with the master. So I'm going to turn the master back down, and I'm going to crank the crunch volume back up and see how that sounds. 1 second. So much more fullness, warmth, and low end in rage. I mean, it just, the furnace just got a lot hotter when I did that. So that's what I would suggest. So again, if you have this amplifier, try that trick. It's something I learned, and it really makes a big difference. And I love that they give you that option. Okay. Okay, JB's asking me, if you had to choose only one amp to cover all your needs, which would it be? I mean, the Savage would definitely do that. But I think there's a few amps that would. I mean, the Rev would. The Savage would. You know, I mean, the EVH would. The JP... Driftwood, the Herbert wood. I mean, there's a lot here that would, but the one thing that the Savage does on channel 3 that none of these amps will do is when you engage the wah on that channel, it just sounds quirky and creepy and eerie and awesome. It's just amazing. You know, it just sounds incredible. I love that channel so much. You know. So every once in a while you want to pull that wacky channel out of your tool bag and do something with it. I mean, that channel is really great. I'll show you something with that in a minute. I haven't practiced this song in a long time, but maybe I can do a little something for you on it in a second here. Marty V, just make some of the hardcore fans moderators, wrench them, so to speak, or so we can banhammer the spammer. Yeah, you know what? That's a good idea. So there you go. So Marty is a moderator. Yeah, I think see Chris. There he is. There you go. I got two of you guys. Thank you. Just anytime you see the spammers, just ban them. Thank you. I appreciate that very much, guys. Okay, so I'm not used to dealing with that. It doesn't happen very often, but you know, it happens every once in a while. Okay, so let's see here. CMO79 says, I have a power cab 212 on order that keeps getting pushed back. Any good amps to pair with a Helix, since that's my pedal board at the moment. Metal, neoclassical, versatile suggestions. Okay, so I have a power cab 212 on order that keeps getting pushed back. Any good amps to pair with a Helix? Oh, so you're looking for a good tube power amp? Is that what you're looking for? If that's the case, look at KSR's website. He actually makes a really nice portable all tube power amp. Like that's the size of like the mini, like a mini EVH Stealth. Like it's just a little, it's probably about, I don't know, this big, something like that, you know. And you can use that for to power a real cab with your Helix. I'm telling you, there's a huge difference. I actually have a video called "Do Tubes Matter," and I actually did a shootout between you know, a lot of different things, and I found that the Helix sounded great or a lot better through a real tube power amp and real cabs than it did through anything else. So that's something you might want to consider. See, thanks for being here, Lead Chicken. Thanks for being here, buddy. Appreciate it. Thanks, Dean. Appreciate that very much. See here. There we go. Get a couple more mods in here just to make sure. Cam says, do you still have your Roadster? I've got one myself, and it's my main squeeze and don't really want anything else. Changed my mind. No, I actually sold it to my friend Steve Shaheen, and he wanted it really bad, so I sold it to him, and I got the Badlander, and I kind of, you know, as far as between the two, I kind of preferred the Badlander, to be honest with you, because it has that nice tailored, it's a nice tailored version of the Dual Rex, and the Roadster is a great amp, and I congratulate you for owning it. I think it's a great amplifier. I loved mine for many years when I owned it a long time ago, and it was like the one that got away. I found one, bought it, loved it again, but then I got the Badlander. I'm like, man, this is just, when you A/B them, the Badlander just, in my opinion, just sounded a little more like modern. It was voiced a little differently. Now that's just my taste. That's my opinion. You might A/B them and still like your Roadster, but it just has, in my opinion, a better top end and a tighter low end. But you can fix a lot of things with an overdrive pedal. But even with that, I just, to my taste, I preferred the Badlander. You know, it's just great. But the Roadster is a fantastic amp. I would hang on to it at least. You know, we got wrenched. We get to banhammer the spammers. I appreciate it, guys. So let's see here. Cam. Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure I answer your question. So, if you have any other questions, Cam, regarding the Roadster and what other amps I would suggest to put it up against, I can definitely answer those for you. Make sure you tag me so I don't miss it. So let me play a couple more riffs on the Savage Mark II, and we'll move on. Listen to the palm mutes on the riffs when I'm chugging. You can hear that, that slice through the strings. It's got that snarly kind of throaty scrape to it. It just sounds so rich, and it doesn't sound thin at all. It's just thick, rich, and it's got a nice bite to it. Okay, so now channel 3, which is Crunch 2, which is just an absolute ridiculous channel. It's not great for rhythms, but it's great for leads if you're doing quirky stuff, especially with a wah. I'll play some rhythms on it. It'll probably sound fine out there, but in the room it's thinner. It's a little thinner, but I don't care because the quirkiness of it for the wah stuff is amazing. I wish I remembered that song. I'd play the whole thing for you, but I have not been practicing lately. But I'm telling you, like the quirky, if I always say this, if Jack the Ripper played leads, he'd play them on that channel, on that amp. I mean, it's just so eerie and creepy and spooky and amazing. I have a song that I wrote with that channel. I actually literally wrote the lead with that channel because it inspired me so much. And if I was up to snuff with my practicing, I'd play it for you tonight, but I'll just completely crap the bed. But anyway, so that's that amp. It sounds incredible. I can't recommend it enough. I just think if you're looking for something unique and you love what Engels do, in my humble opinion, that's the best Engel ever built. Hands down. I just think the Savage has it. I just think it just does so many great things. So many tonal opportunities with it. It'll sound like many different amplifiers because of all the knobs and switches, and it's all MIDI programmable, and you can store everything in here. It's got a store button. It'll store all the settings for you. So when I turn it on, all my favorite settings are right there. It's just freaking mind-numbing good. Very, very good. All right, so let two more, and I'll hurry through these because it's getting late. Next one's KSR. Let's play a couple riffs on that. Woo. That's also an amplifier that every time I play it, I'm pleased with it. It's really thick, really fat, sounds great mic'd up. It's really beefy. You know, it just sounds incredible. It's kind of like if a dual rec and an EVH had a kid. That's what it would sound like. It's like a blend of both of those amplifiers. It's just got a lot of great low end. And the top end on it is great. It's just fat. It's just a big, fat, aggressive, gnarly amp. It's a different kind of top end. It's not like super unruly like the Driftwood. It's a little more smoother on the top end. It's not as gnarly, but there's people that appreciate that as well. So depending on what you're looking for, you know, I think the KSR is also another boutique amp made by a guy, Kyle Rhodes, great guy, makes great stuff. I think that's also a really good amplifier, and that's a keeper as well. I just think it's a good freaking solid amp, and they're made very well. And you know, I don't think they get enough praise on the market. He also makes bigger ones that have more channels. Like this is a 2-channel. It's like a 1.5 channel actually. Oh, it's 2-channel. Yeah, it's 2.5. I mean, so I can make both channels sound exactly the same, or I can have them sound a little different. I can have one that's got a lot less gain than the other, or you know, dial in stuff different with the different switches and, you know, all that. But I mean, it's a good amp, you know. And if you want more versatility, he makes one that has you know, 3 channels. You got a clean, a dedicated clean, and then you got a 2 heavy channels, kind of like the JP. And then you can get MIDI and all that stuff on it as well. And this is a 50 watt. He also makes a 100 watt version. And they're great amps. They really are. They're really, really good amplifiers, you know. Very likable sound. Let's see, Perrin Davis, have you compared the Savage Mark II to the original Savage, and also have you compared the Savage Mark II to the Engel Special Edition? Great question. I have not compared the two marks against each other, but I want to. One of these days I will. But against the Special Edition, I thought the Special Edition sounded really good, but the Savage had... You know how the Special Edition, you don't notice it until you compare them. It's got this squishy top end to it, which is fine. A lot of amps have that. They're like this squishy fizz. And I don't mean that in a bad way. You don't really notice it until you compare it to something that doesn't have it, and all of a sudden it stands out. The top end on the Savage Mark II is just completely different. It's more refined. It doesn't have that squishy fizz in it. It's just more like, I guess, just refined. It's just like kind of like what Mesa did with the Badlander. They just took out the frequencies that just shouldn't be there and left all the good ones in. And again, I'm not saying that the special edition has bad frequencies in it. It's just the Savage is just more sculpted. It's like their Mac Daddy amp, in my opinion. I just think that they put all of their best stuff in this amplifier regarding features, regarding tone. You can get more fizz in it if you want. If you turn off the contour and crank the highs a little bit, you'll get a little bit of that. But with that contour, it just adds this really nice new dimension to the amplifier, and it just has this big, fat, bold, very aggressive but refined sound to it. It's like swearing at you with an English accent. You're like, I don't even feel like somebody's swearing at me right now. You know, it's got a nice accent to it, and it almost feels like a compliment, you know. So, but it still has this anger and rage in it. That sounds great. It's got this awesome saturation, boldness, great top end, great low end, great mids, and it's just a freaking world-class amp. It really is, and it's unique. You know, there's a lot of amps that are Me Too amps, and they sound like all these other amps out there, but then there's amps that sound really unique, but they're weird, and you're like, well, that's only unique because it's weird. No one would want to sound like that, so you're just being unique for the sake of being unique. Not so with the Savage. It's unique, but it stays like the Driftwood in that family of great tones, but it's got its own personality and its own voicing and its own way of doing things, and it has its own accent. There's an accent on Engel amps that's very obvious, and I think that the Savage has the best version of that accent, if that makes sense. So, and the KSR is a very American kind of sound, and it sounds really good. So it really depends on what you like, but the Savage definitely stands out as far as I'm concerned. As soon as I figured out the cranking of the channel volumes, I fell in love with that amp instantly. I was like, oh my god, there it is. There's all the stuff I've been looking for right there. It's just so good, you know. Marty, try swearing in French. It's like wiping your bottom with silk. I'll have to try that sometimes. Oh man, that's funny. Marty says, I also need to I don't have my glasses. I also mod for Hot Pulse Studios. Oh, cool. My friend Adam has produced over 25% of the 2 notes cabs on there, including the Victory cabs. I'm a bit biased to the 2 notes Captor X. That's cool. Yeah, the Captor X is great, and I'm glad that the Rev has it in there because it actually sounds good in there. I like them both. I like the 2 notes, and I also like the aux box. It just depends on what I'm reaching for that day. I love that Rev has the 2 notes in it because I think it's a great feature, especially if you just want to take your amp to a gig and not worry about having a cab, and you still want to sound good. So great. So all right. So now let's switch over to the Diezel, and we'll end the night with that. This amp is freaking amazing. So I'll go through the different channels for you. 1 second. Okay, I'm on 2+ on the Diezel right now. Okay, and I switched to the Diezel cab, so it's going to sound quite a bit different. And the reason why is it's a 180 watt, amplifier, and it'll just pulverize this little 120 watt cab here. So that's the reason why I got that cab. It's a 200 watt cab. So let me play some riffs on channel 2+ with the mid cut on. Okay. working on some new solos, and I keep getting my riffs mixed up. Sorry. So that's channel 2 plus. And you can actually play leads on it if you want. It's got enough gain for it, but it's just a great tight rhythm channel. This amp's very intentional, so every channel on it is like filled with purpose. It's like channel 2 is a freaking rhythm channel. Can you play leads on it? Yes, but why would you when you have channel 3, which is an amazing lead channel? It's buttery smooth, it's amazing, but it's not a good rhythm channel, because why would you play rhythms on channel 3 when you have channel 2? So it's made for leads. Again, you can play rhythms on it, but they're not as tight, and they got this weird thing that happens. I can't put my finger on it, but it just doesn't work very well for rhythms. But when you play leads on it, it just sounds amazing. It's buttery, creamy, amazing. The tone is real smooth and glorious, and it's just made for leads. And the clean channel is a freaking clean channel. Why would you play anything else on it? It's one of the most glorious, purposeful, clean channels out there. It just sounds absolutely phenomenal. So I'm going to play some rhythms for you again on channel 2 plus with the mid cut on, and then I'm going to switch over to the lead channel, play some crappy leads for you, and then go to the clean channel. Okay, so now let's go over to the lead channel. Alright, make sure that's good there. Alright, so here's the lead channel. I'll play some rhythms on it, and they'll sound good, but not as good as channel 2, and then I'll play some leads on it. See, on the chugs, there's just something kind of broken happening there. It's not as percussive and tight, and I don't mean that as a slight to the amp. It's just it's a lead channel. So when you play rhythms on it, it just doesn't sound as tight and as clean and articulate as a rhythm channel. But it really soars when you play leads on it. Okay, so there's that, and let's go over to channel 1, which is the clean channel. I don't think there's any effects on. Let me play something real quick on that. Okay, so there's the clean channel. Just amazing. Just a really, really good clean channel. Lead tone sounds awesome. Thanks, Sean. Yeah, it does. It just really buttery, smooth, creamy, amazing. It just sounds awesome, you know. Let's see here. Okay. Another spammer. Jeez, man, what the hell is going on tonight with the spammers? So, anyways, All right. Well, I've been on for quite a while here, but yeah. So basically, that's the roundup of all the amps that at least I have hooked up with the 8 that I wanted to do tonight. I think these are all great amps. I enjoy all of them. I love playing through these, and depending on, kind of like going to your favorite restaurant, there's several menu items that you like, and if they're out of one thing, there's always other options for you, and you enjoy anything. And sometimes you just got a taste for, man, I just want this today. And if they have it, you're like, you just enjoy it even more, depending on what you're craving for that day. And all of these amps kind of fit the bill for me regarding that. Those and the honorable mentions, because again, I don't have the shelf space, but the Splon, the Molecular, also great amplifiers, and the Kraken I didn't have hooked up tonight, also great, and the PV Invective also, they're just all really good. So it really depends on what I'm craving for, and a lot of times when I'm coming down here writing leads and stuff, I mean, I've used the Badlander quite a bit for writing solos and stuff like that, and through the Oxbox, and I just enjoy playing that very much. So, but hopefully this gave people watching now and in the future an idea of how these amps compare, and basically my thoughts on them for whatever that's worth, and maybe it help people kind of make a decision on how they, which one they would want to get in the future. Because again, I get a lot of questions about which ones I like the best and why, and how do they compare to each other, and what are the characteristics, differences between them. And hopefully tonight's show helped answer a lot of those questions. I was happy to do it for you guys, and I appreciate you guys being here very much. I really do. So thank you so much. And Carrie and I will be live on Saturday night this week. It's either going to be 7 or 8, depending on my schedule, my work schedule, and all that. But we will be live on Saturday instead of Sunday because of the 4th of July, and we look forward to hanging out with you guys then. I'll be on for another couple minutes, and then I got to get some food in me. Cam, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, "Cheers, man, from Kalamazoo." Oh, cool. That's awesome, man. I'm glad you live in the area. That's cool, man. Hopefully we could meet sometime. Thank you so much. Bruce Clark, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Paul Smith, got to get some bedtime. I get it, man. Me too. Thanks for being here. Sean Casey, good night and great show. See you Saturday. Thanks, buddy. Always good to see you here. I really appreciate that very much. Thanks to all the guys that that helped me out with moderating tonight. I appreciate that very much. And I just had to pick some people really quick at the last minute because I'm trying to run a show, so I apologize if I didn't pick some people, or pick some people that are like, "What? Me? Really? Now I'm a moderator?" So I apologize. I just had to hurry up and get it done. Tell Carrie. I will. I will definitely tell Carrie, Bruce. I'll make sure she knows. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for being here. God bless you all. Sorry it was so late tonight, but it's just the way it is with my schedule lately. Well, hey, like I always say, every day's a gift, and thank you so very much for spending part of yours with me. Really appreciate that, and we'll see you all Saturday. God bless you guys. Love you, and we'll see you soon. Take care.